Hi Pisces, welcome to your November 2017 readings. My camera just seems to be getting worse and worse every month. I gotta work on trying to figure that out. Be patient with me. So these are your monthlies. Your monthlies are done differently than mid-months. Hopefully I can keep them shorter. Sometimes they go long, where I'm not a Gemini, so I don't have as, I tend to I want to ensure that I describe things in the proper way because I don't have the skills of a Gemini, where I'm a Sag. So in your monthlies, I'm going to try to cover homework and relationships. Relationships come in all forms, so keep that in mind. It could be with coworkers, family members, siblings, friends. So keep that in mind. Whatever messages come through, I do deal with energy, so the messages that come through will be the ones that I try to interpret, hopefully correctly, towards you guys. Hopefully everybody's been having a fantastic month. There's been a lot going on energy-wise. I know personally, I've been having a lot more downloads, if you want to call it. Or universe has been playing with me a little bit. It's kind of fun, kind of scary. I'm a Sag, so I just go with it. You know what I mean? A little fascinated by everything. And Pisces. I think that I've had a Pisces viewer. I said this in Sag reading. I think they're a Pisces Sag mix, which would make sense because they're both ruled by Jupiter, and Jupiter, the actual planet, does have radio frequencies. If you tune into an AM station, you can actually hear Jupiter. Uh, so it kind of might be why Pisces and Sages are probably good at doing this kind of stuff due to radio frequencies, which would be like ESP. Some people say that's being psychic. ESP is the scientific term, I believe. Don't quote me on that. It's energy based, though, right? Which is radio frequencies is energy. So I'm just waiting for the cards to fall out. The first card we have is the Hangman, which is a Pisces card, I believe. I do a lot of research on the cards. I do prefer. I don't like to. I have a Virgo rising, so I don't like to base. I take, and because I have a Sag Sun and Sag Mercury, this means I take things. I'm kind of like Spock too. Common peace, people. Because of my Aquarius energy, I have a lot of Aquarius energy. Uh, I take things with a grain of salt, and I research facts and facts and facts. And I've noticed that a lot of people, from what I've studied, like the High Priestess, 5 of the people that I studied, and tarot is based on you're allowed your own personal choice in how you read, right? You don't have to read like everybody else reads, it's unique to each person. But the High Priestess card, from what I've studied, 5 people that I researched on that are, I guess you could say, esoteric professors or whatever, it was actually associated with Taurus, which I found interesting. And Cancer was associated with it. But now there's such a stigma, and so many people are saying that it's Pisces. I do believe Pisces is High Priestess as well. But, it would be hard to break that stigma because everybody's out there saying one thing, right? Where I found that interesting. Where the cards don't seem to want to be falling out here, and I deal with energy, so there we go. You can research that for yourself, though, right? Take what you hear with a grain of salt. Okay, so the first card we have is the Hangman. This is the only card that might be offensive to some people. We have the 8 of Cups. We have the 5 of Pentacles. We have the 8 of Pentacles. We have the Ten of Cups. We have the King of Swords. We have Temperance. We have Judgment. And we have the Knave of Swords. Okay, so just give me a moment to pick up on the energies. Okay, so in relationships, okay, Pisces, there's a cord of attachment that you have to a specific person. Okay, for some of you, it would be healthy, and then for others of you, it'd be unhealthy. You're going to have to use that, and I'm not sure who the person is, but you do have a cord of attachment to them. And the cards are saying that you really need to work on, so it could be saying more codependent, so you're codependent on another person. This could also be meaning looking for validation from the outside, where your validation is going to come from the inside here. It's saying not to pay attention to the outside. You want to work on building a firm foundation on the inside. So think of a tree. You want to be nice and stable, right? So any outside events that happen can't push you over, right? A tree is stable as long as its roots are firm in its ground. So if I bring this up like quite often, I think for you guys. So if like it's hailing, wind, it doesn't matter what it is, the tree, the branches will blow, but it's the stump of the tree doesn't move. You know what I mean? It can withstand any storm. So this means like if you're in your partnerships, relationships, again, they come in all forms, you need to ensure that the outside doesn't influence you, your opinions, or get you off balance. It's more so talking about a firm mindset here. For others of you, this is talking about working on your relationships really hard, okay? So if you're having problems, that's due to you need to see things from a different perspective, and it's talking about making sacrifices, okay? And both parties have to sacrifice. In a romantic relationship, it's referring to, both parties have to make a sacrifice, okay? It can't just be one partner doing it and not the other, all right? If you're having problems, that would be what it's due to. So this also means that, okay, if that's occurring, then you might have to have that conversation with somebody. For those of you that are single, it's more so saying that you need to focus on your interpersonal relationships. So healing any family issues that you have, seeing things from a different perspective. So this would mean like, say for instance, with your parents, this would mean understanding that they did the best they could with the circumstances that they had. If you're having issues with them, so like if there's issues that you're not talking to them or something like that, okay, it's almost like a family pattern. Okay, so you need to understand that, okay, they probably broke a pattern that they had with their parents, and then they broke it a little bit with you, and it's done on a level of awareness. If they weren't aware of things, then they couldn't, there's no way that they could have tended to those issues, right? So they did the best they could with what they knew, right? And it's showing compassion and forgiveness towards that, because you have temperance here, and that's a Sag card, and Sages are pretty forgiving. It takes a lot for them to say enough is enough. You know what I mean? There is a pattern here that needs to break, though. Okay. So this can mean also like if you have a daughter, say if you have a daughter and you're putting her in like ballerina dancing, right? Because that's what girls are said to do. You're sitting there saying, "Oh, you're pretty, sit cross-legged." Okay, well then you're implementing a stigma on the child, right? So it's saying that, perhaps your daughter would be really good at karate. You know what I mean? And karate is a very valuable skill that you can learn Okay, if you can teach your children karate at a young age, that's a valuable skill mentally as well. That teaches them discipline, and it also teaches them the power that they actually will have out there in the world. Um, it, it could be really good at soccer or hockey or something like that. If you have a girl, it's talking about breaking that stigma. Okay, and if you have a boy, well, then I brought this up in somebody else's video. Um, like a lot of really well-known hockey players. Okay, I'm Canadian, so it's hilarious that I use hockey. We love our hockey. I love soccer too. I was a big soccer fan myself. Played it for years. Um, it's talking about understanding. Okay, in hockey, the most successful hockey players, some of the best hockey players, they actually took ballet for years, and that skill transferred over into hockey. Okay, so it's not okay. Maybe you have a son that wants to do hip hop dancing, okay, or something else. You know, there's some sort of pattern here that you have to break, okay. And then some of you are making really hard sacrifices. Uh, you're working too. You may be working too much, and there's a cost here of your family that affecting your family. You want to balance that. It's talking about balance, right? Sages are very good at they work hard and they play hard. It's true, they do. Uh, if they work really hard for 2 weeks or a month, they will reward themselves. Okay, like this is talking about you need to reward yourself, like pat yourself on the back for good behavior. A job well done. If you're a mother, like don't be so hard on yourself, okay? Because the cards are saying you're making sacrifices here, and they'll be well worth it long term. So, like, if you guys are worrying about short terms, like you're having a hard time, okay, uh, in some manner, you've made short term sacrifices for long term gain, okay? So it'll take a while before you see the actual effects of all of your sacrifices. The cards are saying it's well worth it, okay? Don't panic here, or don't like get stuck in a bubble of like, why does this, things aren't working out, why am I not getting what I want? It's not time yet, okay? Just keep working hard and just know that your sacrifices are not in vain. Long term gratification takes a lot longer, and there's a lot more blood, sweat, and tears, okay, and pain, okay, that comes in with short term sacrifices, okay? So you're not going to see rewards just yet. You'll see them in the long term. It'll be well worth it. Whatever sacrifices you made were well worth it. The cards are saying. Okay, and at work it's saying at work it is saying that you work quite hard. Okay, and sacrificing a lot. It's well worth it though. Some of you may need to get another job. Okay, not all of you. Some of you, you'll know it. Okay, if you're emotionally unhappy at your job, you may need another job. It seems like, okay, you need some sort of job that can benefit your family. So I'm not sure what that's referring to. It could be like more time with your family. So you might need to do an at home job. Maybe be an assistant for somebody that you can do it like online or something like that, where you're able to be at home. Opening up a daycare center, so you can have the time with your children, and then you're still getting paid to take care of other people's children. This could even be talking about, okay, if you speak multiple languages, well, then you have the ability to be a tutor, and you can do that online with other people. Okay, I personally don't speak other languages. My mom is Portuguese. I don't speak Portuguese. Because my dad's Scottish. So when she does speak Portuguese, when we were younger, I'm 32, it was usually because she was upset. So you got the hell out of there. I do know all the food names. That's the most important thing. Portuguese people love food. They're like Italians that way, and the Greeks. Um, I've never dieted a day in my life. I can't do it. Uh, Seeing things from a different perspective, making situations work for you. Some of you might be able to start a family business with your partner, it's even saying. Um, you are going to have to make a judgment call, though, okay? In Pisces, this is talking about sticking up for yourself, okay? Um, if you have ideas, okay, then you need to speak about them to your superiors. If you have problems, well, then you need to don't speak about them until you have a solution. First of all, find the solution, sit on it for a while. You need mindfulness is what needs to happen at work. It's mindfulness, so it's a pause. But it's also talking about not keeping everything in because that will become toxic. Okay, so even at home life in general, if there's toxic things happening, you need to write it down and then like burn it. So, I felt sick when I looked at the home card. So I'm not sure. Maybe some of you are pregnant, morning sickness or something like that, or maybe you have a child that might be sick or a husband that could get sick at home. Well, finances seem to be an issue for some of you Pisces at home. Okay, and there's also talking Pisces. Some Pisces, there's a like Stockholm syndrome that I'm getting that's happening. Okay, and the Knight of or not Knight, King of Swords. Okay, is saying like you need to cut through that, right? There's a pattern here that needs to break. So fresh air is quite important. And if you have children as well, this is talking about taking the family out into fresh air. So get hiking, stuff like that. I'm pretty sure you could go online and find like the top. There's usually articles about the top 50 places to go to in your area. You should be able to find something like that. They'll have like hiking trails. You can even look up the top free things to do. They usually, if you have families, they usually have like family events happening in different communities that you could go check out. It's talking about getting out of your house though. You definitely need to get out of your house and get fresh air. And your children, you might need to do this playtime. They need playtime outdoors. This is even talking about taking them to like a park, walking to the nearest park on the swings and stuff like that. And even yourself, Pisces, enjoying the swing, sitting on there and, being a little playful, like there has to be some sort of death to something at home. So, like, I don't know why I'm getting Stockholm syndrome. This is like you're too cooped up, you're too much indoors. It could be, for some Pisces, it will be due to all the energy that's happening right now. It's like mentally, I feel like mentally you feel trapped and you got to cut through some of these things. And it's not going to happen until uh, you're present in the moment, which means you need to give yourself some time to uh, explore. So you're present in the moment. When you're playing, you're present. You're just focused on what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like, if you have nieces and nephews, this is talking about, calling them up and taking them to the park and playing with them, which includes getting on the swing and swinging. That inner child a little bit needs to come out for some of you. Um, well, in your relationships, what it's saying not to do is move too quickly. All right. So again, it's coming down to you need to contemplate things. Uh, if there's problems, you need to ensure that you're coming up with a solution before you speak about it. Don't react too quickly to what's happening. At work, it's saying you can't move slowly. So again, it's talking about like you need to speak up. All right. Don't Don't feel like your suggestions are anything less than what they are. Like nobody's better or worse than you. You know what I mean? But it's definitely saying at work, if you have projects or things you want to tend to, you can't slow down on it. All right? Like you can't just sit back and, fantasize or anything about it. You do have to take steps, go towards it, and you do have to take steps to release what no longer is working for you. My ear's ringing. I'm not sure why. It's like it's now time to make the judgment call. So if you're unhealthy, because there is maybe one, it may be a few people, you're in an unhealthy environment, which could mean it's okay. Quite often when things are occurring at work, because you're at work more than you are at home, those things will interfere in your interpersonal relationship. So if you have an unhealthy job, well, then that's going to come in, all that toxic stuff that's happening at work and all that high stress that you're getting is going to interfere in your home. You're going to be a little more snappier with people at home. So you may need to talk to your husband about this, right? If you have a partner, you need to discuss these matters with your partner first. Um, but it is saying if you're unhappy, you need to take actions towards it. It doesn't mean like directly, okay, quitting your job and then getting a new one. Okay, it doesn't mean that at all. It means that, okay, well, you need to start looking for other jobs. You need to decide what it is that you want, what it is you're looking for, what's going to benefit you, and make these like you need to make the judgment call and then figure out what it is that you're willing to sacrifice for short term, so you can get long term gratification. You might have to do some sacrifice in short term to get long term. Okay, so it's like not seeing things as a negative. If you're going to get paid a little less at another job, you will get a promotion later on, or you will get more money a year down the road, right? So it's like you got to calculate these things in your mind. You definitely want to talk about it with your husband. Okay, with the eight, you have the Eight of Wands here, and that's like what not to do is like, okay, at home it's saying you don't need to discuss things with the outside world. Okay, keep your business to yourself, because you could have some people that, don't understand, first of all, but they'll just add to your confusion. Okay. Also saying don't allow outside influences to interfere with your personal life. So this means, okay, you want to ensure that you're getting facts, not assumptions. Okay, the King of Swords, um, it's an energy. Fire signs very much take on the air energy quite often. Once they've made their decision up, they enter into the swords, right? Like they take on the energy of the swords and they use that to take their action. Okay, because you gotta cut through things in order to make decisions. For some of you could have a husband that is at a distance from you, where he's doing more hours. My concern is not allowing family members or friends and family to make your decision. Okay, so also with the swords character, okay, like a lot of people assume that they're not romantic and that they're most likely to cheat. Anybody can cheat. Is That's all human behavior and psychology, like that stems down to childhood, all right, what kind of traumas they have as a child. Okay, uh, but this is saying that, okay, if somebody's claiming that your partner's cheating, that's an assumption, that's not fact. You have to have facts. You're getting some sort of messages here that, somebody's trying to put a stop, uh, or a barrier between you and your spouse. So you want to ensure that those outside influences aren't affecting you in that manner, is what it's saying. It's like trust your judgment, okay? Because you do know. Yeah, okay. So if you're having problems with your husband, it's because, or your partner, it's because they're focused on finances. Okay, so this could also be getting messages from a distance from family members. Okay, whatever you're concerned about, the family will come together as a whole. Uh, don't move too quickly in your relationships, though. You want to ensure that you're emotionally being speaking to people. If somebody says something and it emotionally gets you off balance, you want to ensure that you tell them like that's inappropriate. You know what I mean? Like there's a sense here you need to stick up for yourself, but you want to do it in a proper manner because you don't want to you don't want to come from ego, because if you come from the ego, words have power. Remember that. If you come from the ego, then it's just going to be, it's interesting. I said towards the earlier, it's like two horns going at it. So you want to ensure that you're being sensitive to the other person, and the way you word it is everything. Um, and you want to word it like coming from your emotions, right? At work, you have the Five of Swords. Okay, and the Five of Swords, I've heard people say that it's manipulation, um, underhanded tactics. Okay, uh, it's a victory card. This is Venus and Aquarius. It's very unexpected. Venus and Aquarius is the humanitarian energy, and it's a five, so it's a number of change. Okay, these are people that can step back, very emotionally detached. Yes, that is true. Uh, doesn't mean that they don't feel. Okay, they feel. They're human. But okay, being emotionally detached gives them. Okay, these are the people that break patterns. In relationships, they'll break patterns. All right, because they don't go by the rules. Okay, well they do go by rules. They're ruled by Saturn as a co-ruler, but they go by the proper rules. So if they notice that something is off, or it's a pattern, okay, this energy comes in because it needs to break. That pattern needs to break, and that means because the foundation is unstable. Okay, and some people say it's a card of defeat. If you're on the other end of it, sure, it will be defeat. Okay, but it's a card of winning, because if you look, okay, this guy's pretty stupid. It seems like that at first glance. Okay, if it was a card of defeat, then he would be the one defeated. He's pretty stupid in the sense that he took on two people. Okay, you gotta have balls to go up against two people. You know what I mean? And he won, which was unexpected. Uranus. Okay, so like, but with the energy being detached, okay, you have to be detached, which means your emotions, okay, you need to step back. Your emotions can't be involved in it, because if your emotions are involved in it, then you can't see the situation clearly for what it is, right? So this energy is detached because they're very good with psychology. Okay, they're Aquarius. Aquarius uh, pours out the emotion. So they're very good at seeing through things and for what they are, because they can pick apart things. They know emotions. They understand when somebody's fake crying. They understand when somebody's looking for sympathy. They understand when somebody's using manipulation tactics. Okay, because they're ruled by pouring out the emotions. They understand the human nature of people. All right, this is why they love equally. Uh, it can be very hard to change. All right. There's a pattern at work that does need to break and does need to be released. And this could be a specific person coming in and breaking a pattern. Okay. And what makes, okay, this is the unexpected too. So he's like the underdog. Okay. It's a very humble energy. And when this energy comes in, it's like quick like a ninja. It's unexpected, and it usually humbles the other people real fast. Okay, it's an energy of change. Most people that have a Venus and Aquarius energy, these are the type of people that move around a lot. They get put into a lot of different environments, and it's not by choice. It's because of the energy that they have. It's kind of like we're all tools, Pisces. All of us, we're all a tool for the universe, and the universe has missions for all of us to do. Okay, I call the Aquarians. Aquarians are like Merlin. Okay, because they're weird. And their opposite is Leo, which is like King Arthur, right? Because they're ruled by the heart, and only King Arthur could wield that sword, right? Uh, and Merlin and King Arthur, they fight a war uh, to bring back peace. All right. Again, the five here it's changed. It's to bring peace. This energy comes in because things needed to change. The foundation was unstable, and it needs to build a proper, firm foundation. It is partly Saturn. Saturn knows the rules. Saturn builds foundations that are unbreakable. Saturn is the general, also like Santa Claus. That's why Christmas is when Saturn or in Capricorn season. Okay, Capricorns are highly intelligent. These are the people that sit back and it's like Santa making a list, checking it twice. They're gonna find out who's naughty and nice. Uh, you may know things, and that's not surprising. Pisces quite often know things, and it has to be cut through. A pattern needs to break. Okay, if you're gonna bring it up to your superiors, uh, okay, this cuts through manipulation. All right, it sees it. It's kind of their gift. It's an Aquarius energy. It's on your end. Okay, there's no manipulation in this or underhanded tactics. Okay, that's the Seven of Swords. I don't know where people get this stuff from, man. Seven of Swords is the manipulation and underhanded tactics. It's deceit, right? You're doing things underhanded and being sneaky about it. That's deceit. This card, okay, shows that, all right, he's out in the open. Everybody can see him, and everybody's seen the others. Okay, so there's no trickery in it. Everything was seen. All right, like and it's not a fight. Okay, a fight is the Five of Wands. That's a battle. Everybody's battling for top dog, right? And usually there'll be underhanded tactics when people are battling. All right, they people do that because they're in a lower vibration. It's about animal instinct, survival, right? This card, whatever happened is done. All right, there's the winner's already. Okay, you already won. Like, fight's over. You see it? It's done. Okay, and if you look in the original Rider Waite card, uh, the guy's a peasant that wins, that does the victory. So this is, and the people that are, and it's done in a stadium. So people again are watching. You see all the seats. There's clouds. Uh, Aquarius is associated with like lightning. All right, but he's the peasant. The guy's the peasant. So like it's not in the two people that get defeated in the back are superior. They have robes on, which means that they were born into wealth. They were privileged with a higher education. So it would be like, they had privileges that others didn't. Okay. And the guy that comes in and wins, it's basically like never judge a book by its cover. Okay. Because he's the peasant and he comes in and he basically okay, why it happens is because there's arrogance. It's also a card of negotiation. The people in the back weren't willing to participate. They weren't willing to see things from a different perspective. They weren't willing to negotiate, right? They thought, okay, well, I know best. I know best. It's an ego. All right, that card, the peasant comes in and he shows them, no, it doesn't matter what you know. uh it matters what you see, like what you've learned. Okay, it's the teacher student card. Okay, the peasant wins because he wasn't born into things, but he still, it's almost like, okay, I don't know if some of you guys want to start a business or something like that, and you may feel like, okay, well, I wasn't blessed with what everybody else was blessed with. Okay, well, You got to see things from a different perspective. You need to understand, sure, they had privileges, but you have privileges that they didn't get. Okay, their ego is blocked. Okay, because they feel they're superior. Okay, where you're more humble because you didn't have those privileges. Okay, and if you look statistically speaking, if you look, the most successful people that have not businesses but empires were all people that were underprivileged. They they know the value of a dollar. They know hard work. They know how to be humble, and they never give up. They're resilient. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like if you want to create something, okay, a lot of famous actors, okay, come from nothing. You know what I mean? And they end up being famous. Uh, Steve Jobs dropped out of college. Uh, One of the richest men in the world, started his company in a garage. All right. It was done in a garage. He didn't have funding for it. He sacrificed. He put blood, sweat, and tears into it. Okay. It took him a few years, but he created it. Okay. So a lot of people that sure have privileges have businesses, but the ones that build the empires are the ones that are, that had less. All right. Because they're more determined. All right. So if you feel like you're at the back of the line, the people at the back of the line usually end up in the front looking back. All right. Life's full of irony. So if you want to create something, you can create it. This is saying if you want to be a motivational speaker, you want to uh, be a rapper or a singer, you know what I mean? Well, you need to put the effort in it. It could take you 2 years, like, but you might cry and nobody believes in you, but that's okay. You need to believe in yourself and you need to keep pushing forward and you will be victorious. You'll be the unexpected. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Like, never give up. Like, whatever it is that you want to do, you have the ability to do it. It's just you need the willpower and the belief in yourself, not anybody else. So it doesn't matter what your idea is, you can totally do it. You just have to see things from a different perspective. And you have to put in the work. It is Saturn. Okay, so hard energy, determination. It doesn't get pushed off track. It's the general. All right, you guys. Hopefully that helped you out. That's all I'm getting. This is a bit longer. Wasn't shorter. I really got to work on that. Trying, you guys. I'm trying. Hopefully that helped you out. Namaste, and I will talk to you in the mid months. Ciao for now.